speaking of big deals, Rob, Steph Curry, he has given us the high. I think even you would admit that Steph Curry has given us the highlight of the season thus far. Would you admit that? When he scored 62?
Well, I mean, yeah, whenever you get a score like that, that's something you don't see every day. Okay, yeah.
Oh,
did they win that game?
It was phenomenal. Yes, they won. They're actually
Okay,
playing, I think they're 3-3 now. So they're playing pretty well, but it was ridiculous. It was the Steph Curry. I mean, it was a career high, so we haven't seen him put up 62 before. But it was the Steph Curry back when he averaged 30 and won his second MVP, where it was just a light show virtually every time he touched the court. And it kind of came after, and credit to Damian Lillard. Damian Lillard is one of the realest guys in the league. I think you know that too. But I don't think he was really going at Steph, but he did say before the game to the Warriors TV people, Steph, he can't just take all those long, I'm paraphrasing, but something to the effect, he can't just take all those long bombs he used to take, and it didn't really matter if he made it or missed it because, you got Clay, you got KD. They're going to win anyway. He's like, it's a little different now. It's kind of like it is for me. And Steph goes out and puts up 62 on Dame and CJ. And after the game, again, credit to Lillard. He gave Steph his love, tweeted out, hey, you can't dish it out without being able to take it. So credit to Dame. But Steph said on a meme, a tweet, that, he hears everything. Instagram, whatever it was, some social media. He hears everything. And he hears people saying he's got something to prove. And I don't think he does. He's a 3-time champion. He's a back-to-back MVP. He's, I think, the greatest shooter in the history of the game. He's changed the way the NBA is played. Like, he's set. But where are you at? Do you agree with those? Are you one of those that feels like he's got something to prove?
No, I think he has something to prove. If they don't make the playoffs this year, I think I know Clay's out. I know Draymond.
It's just getting back. Just starting. He hadn't played yet.
Draymond has been out to start the season. And
Draymond's not a scorer anyway. You know what I mean?
No, I know. But they were getting blown out to start the season, and it looked pretty ugly. And I think that's where some of that came from. And, they're teams with one star and some other supporting players who can still be it if he's that guy. Like, why can't Steph lead a team to just make the playoffs? I'm not talking about a playoff run. Right. And if they're going to the lottery because they can't win games and they're getting blown out every night, I think that will look bad on Steph. I really do. And I think that's the part. We already know he won the finals MVP. I'm not saying that we're going to rewrite his history, but people are looking at this year to see where Steph, what kind of year it's going to be when he doesn't have his big dogs and doesn't have the support from other stars. You know what I mean? And he has to be that guy. So, that was good for Steph. But I do believe there are some people, because did you see the fake quote from Steph? Did you see that?
No.
It was like directed at LeBron, but I knew when I first saw it that it was fake.
You knew it was fake. So
because
what was it?
It was something like people are questioning me or something, like saying like people were like dissing him. But the last time I looked, I won 3 championships against the guy people consider the greatest of all time. You know what I mean? It was kind of like that. And I was like, there's no way Steph said that. It was on the internet. It was on Instagram or Twitter. Somebody made a phony, you know what I mean? But Chris, if you read that quote, I was like, Steph didn't say that. I just know he didn't.
Right. Well, look, I do think there are some people feeling the way you feel, Rob, but I think that's misguided because here's why. And I'll say this. If he gets them into the playoffs, I think that's a tremendous accomplishment. I'm not going to say it's if he does.
I'm asking you if he doesn't, then what would you think? If he
here's where I'm at. If he doesn't, this is why, to me, it's not a slight on Steph. Yeah, it'd be nice if he made it and all that. But this is why it's not a slight to me. So many great players have missed the playoffs in their primes. And I'm about to give you a nice little list. I'm going to start off with a guy that historically is not ranked where Steph is, but he's all-time great, Allen Iverson. Iverson had arguably his best individual year, 33 points, 7 assists a game, and missed the playoffs in 2006. And get this, Rob, he had Chris Webber with him, who averaged 20 that year, and Andre Iguodala, and they were in the East. And I don't even mention Kyle Korver, Matt Barnes. So he had a little bit of a squad, and they missed the playoffs. Kobe Bryant, 2005, averaged 27, 6 assists, 6 rebounds, had Lamar Odom and Caron Butler, and they won 34 games, missed the playoffs. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, last year in Milwaukee, great number, 30 and 14, missed the playoffs, forces his way to L.A. You know, he forced the trade to the Lakers, gets to the Lakers playing with Gail Goodrich, a Hall of Famer, Lucius Allen, Cassie Russell, and misses the playoffs. His first year with the Lakers. And then, dare I say, you've brought this up yourself, LeBron James. His first year with the Lakers, now, yes, he missed the 17 games. But even in the games he played, and you've said it before disparagingly about LeBron, he came back and said, I'm in playoff mode, activated, blah, blah, blah. And they didn't make it. They were 28 and 27 in the 55 games LeBron played, which percentage-wise would not have been enough to get them into the playoffs. So even the games he played, they, theoretically would not have made the playoffs. So my point is, these are three of those guys, Kobe, Jabbar, and LeBron, are ahead of Steph in the all-time rankings, and they didn't make the playoffs in their prime. So you can't kill him when you have the full context if he doesn't make the playoffs.
I disagree because of the Durant factor, where they were, none of those teams, none of those players you're talking about were coming off of 5 years in a row of going to the finals before Durant left. So you're talking about a team that was a juggernaut,
but
and now
half the juggernaut is gone.
No, but I'm just saying,
Durant's not there, Clay's not there.
No,
Draymond
but that's part of it.
Hasn't been there.
But he's supposed to be
Iguodala's gone.
He's supposed to be this greatest shooter and one of these iconic players. And I still think that people are going to look, Chris, if they're in the lot. I'm not talking about playing pretty good and you fall out. I'm talking about having a bad year, getting drubbed by 25 points most nights, where it's just ugly, and that's what it started out. And I think that's why people
ain't that
are
way
like,
now.
No, but I'm saying, but that's if we get back to that. All I'm saying is I think there are people out there who are trying to say, all right, let's see Steph now. No Durant, no Clay. Let's see how great he is, and we'll see.
It would be misguided. Like I said, unless you're going to rip LeBron, Jabbar, and Kobe.
I did.
Kareem and Kobe.
Because if I'm writing, I'm ripping. Yes.
Yeah. All right. I look. Well, right now, for the record, Rob, Steph's second in the league in scoring, 32 a game. Third in the league in PER. He's balling. Give him his props. He's balling like a light-skinned brother should. All right, we'll be back. It's the Odd Couple, Chris and Rob,
I knew
Fox
it.
Sports Radio. And we are happy to welcome in our man, Vinny Goodwill, from the Yahoo Sports senior NBA writer. What is up, brother? Happy New Year.
Happy New Year,
Hey,
Vinny.
Happy New Year to both of y'all.
Vinny, let's get right to it. Brooklyn without Kevin Durant puts a whooping on Utah tonight. Jared Allen outplayed Rudy Gobert badly, and Kyrie Irving was tremendous. What are your expectations? There are a lot of people worried about Brooklyn, not because it's the quote-unquote slow start, but just that they don't trust Kyrie. And where are you at on Brooklyn? What are your expectations for them?
Do you trust Kyrie?
I do. I want him to make the big shot when it matters.
I do think they're the best team in the East. But I got some, you can't say it's not a possibility that things could go awry. But I'm going to think it's going to work out.
I think anybody who has trust issues with Kyrie is right to have trust issues with Kyrie, given the fact that it seems like he has the biggest voice over there.
Yeah, he looks like the leader. Right.
Right. And you can't have that type of guy, in my opinion. You can't have that type of guy. Not that he's a bad dude or anything like that. I know people are going to take it a certain way, but there are certain guys that I can say, whether you've done it before or not, that I would feel comfortable if you're a leader of a contender. Like Donovan Mitchell is not been on a contending team, but he feels like a stable enough personality that you would say, you know what, whether you're the best player or not, if you're the leader of this franchise, that if you're the anchor of this franchise, I feel comfortable there. I feel like both Kyrie and Kevin Durant are players that kind of need more of an anchor. I feel like Kevin Durant is more equipped to be that, but will he want to step on Kyrie's toes to be the guy to say, I am in charge here, not you?
Right.
Yeah, I like their talent. I like everything. If they just stay healthy, I don't see how they won't make it to the Eastern Conference Finals and win me a pair of Jordan Off-Whites from Plaxico Burress, but that's something else. I'm sorry, he made the bet. Vinny, let me ask you about the Warriors and Steph and where they are. Do you expect them to make the playoffs this year, the Warriors?
Absolutely, I do. Don't get me wrong. I don't think they'll make the finals or anything like that. I don't see them as having enough, and I do think that there's something to Steph and Draymond having all those years of playoff miles on your body. I think playoff miles are like, city miles on a car. You know what I mean? Where you're driving around and you're hitting all these potholes and everything else. It's not the pretty highway miles. Like playoff miles on your body they're treacherous. They take a toll on you. And to have those years of going to the finals, it means something. But we're talking about Stephen Curry here, y'all. Like, we can all say what we want, and you may not necessarily have always liked the way the Warriors kicked it, but Stephen Curry is the best shooter on the planet, might be the third or fourth greatest point guard in the history of the game. You've got a pretty good player down low in James Wiseman, who I think is going to be really, really good, maybe sooner rather than later. I really like him. Draymond looks rejuvenated. And if you can get Andrew Wiggins to play like, he's got, a ticker in there, I think it's reasonable to expect to look at this team and say, why can't you be a 6th seed? And you tell me if you want to see them in the first round of the playoffs in a series where Steph Curry can take 1 or 2 games and really take it over by being hot in an empty gym, or whether, we got fans in there or not, I wouldn't want to see that type of team in the first round of the playoffs, no matter the setup.
And if they don't, what do you say? What would you make of Steph Curry if they don't make the playoffs? They're not one of the best 8 teams, and they're healthy, and and they don't make the playoffs. What would you say?
That everything that I said still applies.
Thank you.
Still
Stop it, Vinny. That makes no sense. That makes no sense.
Kareem, LeBron, AI.
He's the greatest shooter of all time, but he can't make the playoffs. He can't lead his team unless Kevin Durant is there. Please.
Some people think LeBron's the best player of all time, Rob. He didn't make the playoffs his first year with the Lakers. Kareem, some people think he's the GOAT. He didn't make the playoffs
But the Lakers hadn't made the playoffs in 6 years before LeBron got there. Chris, this was a team that went to the championship 5 years in a row.
None of those guys
it would tell you how much Durant is a better player, and that the Warriors are about Kevin Durant.
They won without Durant.
No, they skated because the guys were hurt.
They won the championship at 73
Vinny,
games.
you see what I got to put up with every night on the radio?
Vinny knows I'm dropping knowledge.
Rob, I can't ride with you on this one. You tripping. Because I don't think this. You're talking as if it invalidates Stephen Curry's greatness. It doesn't invalidate whatever Stephen Curry does or doesn't do this year. It doesn't invalidate how great he is. You can't take away what he's done. He's already a made man, and you can't parse things. That I think that's wholly unfair to try to say, okay, yeah, Kevin Durant's the best player on the planet. They probably did need him. But guess what? Even if they didn't, they still won a championship in 2015. And, Rob, you know this stat just like I do. How many teams have won championships in the last 30 years? I think the number is like 7 or 8. It ain't that many franchises that win championships, and Golden State is one of them. And Stephen Curry is a 2-time MVP that you can't take anything away from. So whether he
How many
doesn't lead
MVPs
this
he
team
win in
to
the finals? Zero. How many
he
finals?
should have won in
two-
2015.
How many
I'd
did he
rather
win
have
when
one
Kevin
in the regular
Durant was
season.
there? None. That's all
He
I'm
still
saying.
got the rings.
All right.
And Vinny, great knowledge, and Rob didn't know that number, just for the record.
I know he didn't. I know. Rob knows how many baseball teams have won the World Series in 30 years. It's
Yeah,
like the same amount
right.
of NBA teams that have
Probably,
won
yeah.
the championship.
I just been covering the NBA since 1987. Mr. Vinny Goodwill and Chris Broussard. Don't be trying to act like I don't know anything about the NBA. I helped lace the
We
ball
ain't
when they
acting
first
like
got
it.
started.
Vinny, we got 30 seconds. 30 seconds for your answer.
Gotcha.
What's the James Harden? How do you see this thing playing out? In terms of the next few weeks.
I
Next month or
would
so.
think something. I would honestly think something's going to happen, only because there's too many teams, Chris, that are okay but not good, or a little bit good but not great. Like somebody's going to take a chance to make a move on this guy, just because you look at the standings and it's so topsy turvy, it's so up and down. Like the New York Knicks are over 500 right now. You mean to tell me this ain't bizarro world? The New York Knicks are over
Right.
500. Like I think something's going to happen. I would think, maybe in the next month or so. I'm not reporting anything, but I think the conversations are ongoing.
That's our man, Vinny Goodwill, Yahoo Sports senior NBA
I still like
writer.
him anyway. It's all right, Vinny. That's all right. Happy
Thanks
New
for
Year, my
putting
man.
your ex-uncle in his place, man. We appreciate that. Real talk.
Trust me, I'll send you a bill next time.
All right,
Vinny.
All right, brother.
See you
Peace,
guys.
man.